Ah, the NFL season opener, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. A clash of titans, a battle of bitter rivals, and a plot twist so dramatic it would make Shakespeare raise an eyebrow, or at least trade his quill for a helmet. The setup? The Steelers, fresh off a 6-0 and one hot streak in 58, thought they were the next big thing. Coach Buddy Parker was feeling cocky, eyeing that momentum like a kid eyes the last slice of pizza. At the helm was Bobby Lane, a quarterback who probably threw touchdowns with a cigar in his mouth and a wink for the ladies. They were ready to roll. The Browns owned a gaudy 16-2 record in head-to-head play against the Steelers. Since then, the Browns are 4-8-8-1-1. But wait, the Browns had other ideas. Coach Paul Brown's squad was a well-oiled machine, a perennial powerhouse. And they had a secret weapon. Well, not so secret, really. A guy named Jim Brown. This human wrecking ball wasn't just good. He was the league's leading rusher. A one-man ground game that made defensive coordinators wake up in a cold sweat. Flanked by speedy halfback Bobby Mitchell and veteran Ray Renfro, they were an offensive explosion waiting to happen. Then, the soap opera really began. The X-Files became the immediate headline. Pete Brewster, the Browns' star receiver, had conveniently retired, only for Buddy Parker to coax him back just in time to play his old team. Talk about awkward family reunions. The Browns must have been thrilled to see their leading pass catcher suddenly wearing the enemy's colors. The Browns, not to be outdone in the poaching department, had snagged lineman Willie McClung from Pittsburgh the year prior. So, there you have it. High hopes versus a superstar rusher, a coaching showdown, and enough facing your former team drama to fill a daytime talk show. It was more than a game. It was a gridiron gossip column come to life. A simpler time, when men wore ties to football games and the forward pass was viewed with mild suspicion. This season opener between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns was less a game of football and more a masterclass in theatrical timing, starring one Robert Bobby Lane, Esquire, and a perfectly poached tight end. The stage was set at Forbes Field on September 26th. The Browns, clearly feeling their oats, decided to open the scoring in the second quarter. Quarterback Milt Plum executed a flawless one-yard touchdown run, a move so pedestrian it practically put the crowd to sleep. But it did give Cleveland a commanding 7-0 lead at halftime. At this point, the Steelers were less steel curtain and more gauze valance. Enter Bobby Lane, a man who approached quarterbacking with the casual swagger of someone who knew the outcome before the coin toss. When the second half began, Lane decided the nap time was over. He started by putting Pittsburgh on the board himself, with a modest, workmanlike 26-yard field goal in the third quarter. A palate cleanser, if you will. But the real show was coming. Lane then found receiver Jimmy Orr for a 20-yard touchdown pass, which felt a bit like a polite suggestion that the Browns perhaps reconsider their life choices. This put the Steelers ahead, 10-7. Then came the pièce de résistance of poetic justice. Coach Buddy Parker had, earlier that week, successfully lured former Browns leading receiver Pete Brewster out of a comfortable retirement just for this one glorious purpose: to haunt his previous employer. With the game in the balance in the fourth quarter, Lane hit Brewster for the coup de grace, a 19-yard or 22-yard, depending on which history book you trust, touchdown pass to seal the 17-7 victory. It was a move so beautifully petty, you almost have to applaud the sheer audacity. For Cleveland, it was a long second half. They had superstar Jim Brown, who chewed up 81 yards on 19 carries. But the Steelers' defense decided that one touchdown was quite enough excitement for the day. Thank you very much. Bobby Lane, finishing with a tidy 209 passing yards and 2 touchdown passes, sauntered off the field, the undisputed star of the show. The final score wasn't just a win. It was a demonstration of high-stakes roster trolling that secured a glorious, humorous opening day triumph for Pittsburgh. The victory was like finding a prime parking spot downtown on game day. Pure luck and entirely temporary. The momentum quickly evaporated, as the Steelers stumbled to a 1-4-1 record over the next 6 weeks. Despite later managing a second victory against the Browns, perhaps Cleveland felt sorry for them? Pittsburgh settled into fourth place in the Eastern Conference with a 6-5-1 record. Meanwhile, the Browns, after their initial embarrassment, decided to remember they were actually good. The opening loss was a mere hiccup, a minor stain on their otherwise respectable reputation as serious contenders. While they ultimately didn't secure the top spot, finishing tied for second place with the Philadelphia Eagles at 7-5, they did provide some individual heroics. Quarterback Milt Plum, apparently unfazed by the opening day defeat, went on to lead the entire NFL in completion percentage, a stat that probably offered little comfort to fans who wanted a title. The legendary Jim Brown continued his reign of terror on defensive lines, even breaking a notable 40-yard run in a later game against those same Steelers, likely just to remind Pittsburgh who the real boss was. In the end, both teams missed the top spot, proving that sometimes, even when you beat the contender early on, the universe has a funny way of ensuring both sides can master the art of the mixed fortune.